Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Tyrone back with Tech Life. And here I have a great article for you guys from Mike over at Light Reading. I will leave a link to it in the description so you guys can check it out. So the title reads, There may not be much interest in T-Mobile's 800 megahertz spectrum or auction. Now, that brings a big question. So what happens with the spectrum? So just to give you guys a quick backstory on the rules, it looks like apparently that T-Mobile first T-Mobile is going to wait it out, right? They're going to give Dish to the fall. Well, they have to give Dish until fall of this year to until they can say, hey, we can now put this up for auction because Dish did not exercise their option to purchase. So we had to get that out the way first. So they still have to wait. They just because Dish did an official 10K SEC filing saying they're likely not to use the option to purchase the spectrum, T-Mobile still has to let the time and let the time run out before they can actually put it up for auction. Now, the next piece, if they do put it up for auction, it's if somebody bids $1 billion, it's not going to go to that person. That wouldn't be fair to Dish. So that auction has to generate at least $3.6 billion for whoever might buy it. Now, it's looking like that's not likely to happen. So if that doesn't happen, if that auction does not generate 3.6 billion, then T-Mobile gets to keep the spectrum. It stays in their possession. So would T-Mobile rather have that cash? Of course. Let's get that out the way. They would rather have the 3.6 billion, because that pretty much pays for the spectrum that they bought from Columbia Capital. If I remember correctly, the 600 megahertz N71 spectrum, the low band spectrum that they bought from Columbia Capital was like 3.5 billion. So that would be essentially a wash. So they would rather have the money. If they can't get the money, now they have all this, this 800 megahertz low band sitting there. What are they going to do with it? That's going to be the big question. And that's what I, in this video today, wanted to give you guys my take on that and kind of speculate on what they would do with that spectrum. So for one, right, when we're talking about capital allocation, that's T-Mobile's CapEx, it's this year between 8.6 to 9.4. Next year, it sounds like they're going to go back to the 9 to 10 billion, maybe on the higher end of the 10 billion. So there is going to be some priorities to that capital allocation. So do not expect T-Mobile to come out and say, yes, we're deploying N26 800 megahertz on all our sites, because that's what it would be. Today in the network, T-Mobile does not have a radio deployed for N26, so they would have to literally climb every single cell site that they want to deploy that spectrum on again, which would have to be a nationwide sweep to deploy that spectrum. Ain't gonna happen. Like I just mentioned, the capital allocation has some priorities to it. C-band, DoD would be a bigger priority right now. Deploying additional sites would be a priority because that is accretive to the business and its future growth. Millimeter wave even would be a priority over that 800 because you can do more FWA with that. So you guys catch my drift there. I don't see them deploying that at all in the short to midterm. So again, the question you would ask me, well, what are they going to do with it? So hear me out. T-Mobile has allocated a PCS block, I believe it's the G block, that they've given to SpaceX to do the whole satellite direct to cell. If that 800 is not being used and T-Mobile has none of that in their planning period whatsoever, it wasn't mentioned at the analyst day. It's not a part of the capital allocation priorities. So are they just going to let it sit there? I would give it to Elon. If they can make that work, right? More spectrum, the better, whatever, right? You have PCS already on air. Put some low band up there, and maybe it'll make for an even better, stronger connection. Who knows? I'm not too familiar with that, so I'm just speculating that's literally brand new to all of us. So we'll see what happens. And the reason I bring that up is because I saw the partner that AT&T is working with, they're using some of the 700 megahertz from AT&T. So it does look like low band can be used direct to cell. So I mean, if you got the 800, if you're going to end up keeping it, right? There could be a surprise bidder, who knows? Amazon, Verizon could be a surprise bidder, and they buy it for the 3.6 billion. It's possible, right? Let's not keep that out of the possibility, right? That is a possibility. But if T-Mobile doesn't end up generating that 3.6 in the auction, right? The 3.6 billion, I would immediately give that spectrum to Elon and say, hey, deploy this for the direct to cell service. There's going to be instances where you're not within the range of the native network on T-Mobile, and you're going to have to rely on that satellite connection. And the more spectrum in the low band or the mid band, whatever, the better. That's always going to be the case. The more spectrum, the better. So yeah, I would immediately give that 800 megahertz to Elon and say, hey, look, make it happen. We're trying to close the perception gap. We want our customers to be connected at all times, no matter where they are. Let's make it happen. So just wanted to share my thoughts on that. I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, if they don't get this 800, right, if they don't get the money for it, there's no sense of just sitting on it. So let's deploy it direct to cell. Let's make it happen. I would immediately get Elon on the phone, SpaceX, talk with the engineers. Can we make this happen? What do we need to do? And I would immediately give them the 800 megahertz block. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Make sure you stay tuned, like, share, subscribe. If you're new, follow my social media outlets. This is Tyrone with Tech Life. See y'all in the next one. Peace.